Hello, all of my favorite people, and welcome back for Chapter 4 of The Littles and the Lost Children. So Chapter 3 ended with Father Len and Mother Lynn deciding to go off into the dump to try and find the entrance to Trash City and leave Winky and Tip behind in their tent while they were napping. I told you guys that this next chapter is going to be a wild one. And speaking of wild ones, we have a new guest reader for today. She is Michael's favorite teacher. She has a crazy sense of fashion, and she regularly comes into our classroom looking for chocolate, even though we never have any. Who do you think this wild woman could be? Just wait and see. Chapter 4. Shortly after Father Len and Mother Lynn Small Fry disappeared from view, Sable heard scratching noises behind the tent. She hopped around to the back. 3 mice were struggling to get under the tent flap. They were after the babies. Croak! Sable flapped her wings. The mice scurried away. Sable hopped back quickly to the front of the tent. More mice, 6 or 7, all trying to get at the children. Tock, 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 cried the raven as she rushed at the mice. This time she managed to kill 5, but others came out from behind the trash. There were mice everywhere, surrounding the tent. The big bird croaked at them, flapping her wings. The mice darted here and there, trying to stay away from the bird's claws and beaks. They squealed loudly. The squeals woke Winky and Tip. They came out of the tent, but when they saw the mice, they ran back in. Suddenly, the mice stopped fighting and ran from the area. At almost the same time, a raggedy yellow cat came bounding out of nowhere and leapt upon the raven. There was an explosion of feathers, fabric, and fur. Around and around went the trash cat and the big black bird, claws flashing and slashing in deadly combat. The cat seemed to be winning when suddenly Sable broke away. She reeled up into the sky. The cat leapt into the air after her, clawing madly. Raven and cat disappeared behind a pile of litter. Moments later, a band of tiny soldiers climbed out of a nearby pipe. Their leader, a distinguished-looking older officer with a beard, looked at the deadly mice, pieces of cat fur, and scattered scraps of fabric. "There's been a battle," he exclaimed. Take it away, Miss Cronin.
"Some of the mice are still alive, Major," said one soldier. "It must have just happened."
"I can see that, son,"
replied the Major, and he walked towards the tent. "This tent, tiny people have been here." Winky and Tip pushed open the tent flap and came out. Their eyes were wide and open. The tiny officer ran towards the children. "What in the world?" he cried. And then he picked them up.
It is always a pleasure, Miss Cronin. Thank you so much for joining us. 2 of the soldiers came running over. "They're just babies," one said. The other soldier drew back the tent flap and looked in. "No one here, sir," he said. "Where are their parents, I wonder?" The major looked down at the pieces of torn fabric and the black feathers. "Must be someone's clothes," he said to himself. Then aloud, "Look sharply, men. There's still danger here. I can feel it." Just then, Sable swooped down from the sky toward them. She was screaming, "Tuck, tuck, tuck." The raven had seen the stranger pick up the children and thought that they were in danger. The soldiers quickly began shooting stones from slingshots at the raven. "No, no," yelled Winky, trying to help Sable. "Don't worry, child," said the major. "We'll protect you." Sable landed a few feet away and with wings outspread rushed toward them. "That creature must have killed the baby's parents," said the major. "Well, it's not going to get them." Suddenly the trash cat leapt into view behind the raven. "Draw your firecrackers, men," shouted the major. "Now!" Immediately, 10 of the tiny soldiers pulled large firecrackers from their belts. Another soldier lit a match. The soldiers thrust the fuses of the firecrackers into the flame and threw them. 10 firecrackers flew through the air, exploding around the bird and the cat at the same time. The 2 creatures fled. By now, with all the noise and confusion, Winky and Tip were screaming at the top of their lungs. "Hush, hush, children, you're safe now," said the Major, and he carried them down the large pipe, followed by the soldiers. They all disappeared underneath the trash. So here's a picture. You can see Sable and the trash cat being scared away by the soldiers and the firecrackers. And so now Winky and Tip have been brought down into Trash City by these soldiers, and their parents are not going to have any idea where they've gone once they get back to their camp. I told you guys this was going to be a crazy chapter. So, click on your Google assignment. You will answer some reading comprehension and vocabulary comprehension questions. And I want you guys to think about Mother Lynn and Father Len's reaction when they get back to camp. What do you think they are going to be thinking? Craziness. So, in other crazy news, this weekend is the weekend that I'm heading to the hospital to have a baby. So, in our next Zooms, you guys will see my newest little boy or girl. What do you guys think it's going to be? In the classroom comments, I want you to write whether or not you think I'm having a boy or a girl. And we will find out next week. All right, have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys soon.